B is back, and so are we. You guys have found another edition of the Cheesesteaks Intakes podcast show, the only multi-generational podcast show featuring Philadelphia sports fans. My Uncle Chuck, my dad, my cousin Noah. On this episode, we're going to talk a lot of Sixers, guys, a lot of NCAA March Madness, college basketball as well, with the Sweet 16 set up for this Thursday and Friday. We had the Sixers on last night. Jared McCain made his return to Philadelphia's first game back, playing against the Sixers for the Oklahoma City Thunder, who did win by 20 in that game that the Sixers actually kept closer than a lot of people probably anticipated. And we'll talk a little bit about that game. And we'll also get PG 13 or PG 8 in this case, Paul George coming back tomorrow after serving his 25-game suspension. You guys excited about that? Sixers ready to make a late season top six.
In a way,
push?
did you see his press conference? I don't want to get ahead of our agenda.
I saw some of the comments he made.
I didn't see anything. So what did he say?
Well, he walked into the press conference. He sat down. He apologized to the city, the fans, his teammates. The first question that was asked to him was, PG, what did you take and why did you take it? He said, well, I'm not going to really get into that. Then someone asked him about, I think the follow-up question was like, did you know when you were taking it there was a chance you would get caught? And he was like, no, I didn't really think that far ahead. And then someone asked him about like mental health stuff, and he kind of had a word salad about that. It was an interesting press conference. He looked good, and from what I'm hearing, he is looking good in practice. He was on a scout team, and they said he's been killing the starters, but who knows?
Well, listen, he's been out for 25 games. I guess he picked the right time to get suspended for 25 games. Now he's back for a playoff push. He should have some very strong legs, relatively speaking, for a 34-year-old.
Why do you think it's the right time, though? Why do you think that was the right time?
Because he got a decent amount of rest right before the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I'm not too excited about it.
So when he did get suspended, the Sixers were 6th or 7th in the conference standings, and they're 7th now, a game out of the 6th seed. Considering Tyrese Maxey going out and the state of the team without their top 3 players, you got to figure you take the spot that they're in right now, getting one of those guys back tomorrow with 11 games left in the season.
Yeah, I guess we would take it. Kobe, it sounds like you are giving Nick Nurse a little credit. Like, considering all of what they lost, and they didn't lose. They're 5 games over, 500. And I know Troy's, he's the coach guy. I don't think Coach is mad. I don't think if Red Auerbach coached this team, they would be.
You gotta be kidding me.
5 games. I think they would be the exact same team.
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
So if Red Auerbach coached this team, what would they, without Embiid, without Maxey, without Kelly?
I listen. Let's keep Red Auerbach out of this, okay? I didn't see him coach. I have no idea. Apparently he's one of the greatest coaches ever.
Who's the best coach you've ever seen?
If Larry Brown was coaching this team,
love you some Larry Brown.
Because you know why? He coaches players.
Over Dean Smith?
He knows how to coach players.
You take him as a coach over Dean Smith?
He's a disciple.
As a pro coach, yeah. As a college coach, no.
That's fair.
No.
That's fair. So McCain did have 13 points last night, and he had those 2 threes. You were talking a little bit about the highlights, Chuck, but I probably watched his second 3 like 3 or 4 times just so I could see Tyrese Maxey's reaction on the bench. It was priceless.
Yeah, that was
his reaction.
That,
Kyle
right?
Lowry sitting next to him, one of the assistants. They just had like this just priceless look on their face.
Did you see that, Troy?
No, I missed it.
And it was funny obviously like Maxi, he's been outspoken about watching McCain since he got traded and how he's caught a lot of Thunder games while he's been injured and he's been watching him a whole lot. And we obviously know how he feels about Jared McCain. And so like when he checked into the game, Maxi was sitting back watching the game before McCain checks in. And when Jared McCain checked in, it was like that meme that you see when a gamer is locked in and he sits up and he's focused and it's like the fourth quarter, whatever. That was Tyrese Maxey. He sat up, had his hands crossed, and was locked in. And it was just priceless, his reaction to that second three. And seeing McCain go on a little heater there in the first quarter.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Maxie's reaction?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was almost like, I don't know, like I told you so look. I guess I don't know how to describe it, but it was definitely like a vibe.
It was like he wanted to jump out of his seat and cheer, but he knew that he couldn't because he's a member of the other team.
Correct. Yeah,
Like,
that's a good.
I'm
way
sure
to
that,
put it.
I'm sure there are a lot of guys that had that same feeling watching McCain play, just from what we've heard about the relationship he had with the locker room, how they still feel about him, and that was cool to see too. After the game, him dap
I saw
everybody
that.
up, VJ,
Yeah.
and they all had some words with him, so that was really cool to see too. But I had fun. I had
that's a
fun
good
watching McCain play last night.
Yeah, I mean, he made a little. I don't know if you guys saw the comment he made maybe a couple weeks ago. I'm paraphrasing. I wish Zach was here because maybe he could look it up. But it was like they were talking about his success at OKC, and he was like, "Yeah, it would have been nice if Joel set some screens for me when I was in Philly." And you know how McCain is not like he doesn't go after people, but in his own way, it sounded like a little dig. Maybe not at Embiid, but just at the Sixers' philosophy on how they were using him. I thought that was interesting the way he said it. It was very like just he was giving a jab in his own way at the Sixers for not using him correctly.
I mean,
And
he has a
Embiid,
point. Yeah.
Embiid dribble handoff is crazy. Like when Redick was there, it was crazy. Now you have Maxey. Even when they had Curry, that dribble handoff
Seth
was
Curry.
really, yeah, that
It was
dribble
just-
handoff was tough to stop.
But like if I'm not mistaken, early in the year, you didn't see a lot of minutes with McCain and Embiid together.
No.
Like there wasn't a concerted effort to get them on a court playing at the same time.
Well, Troy,
From
I mean,
from what I can remember.
well, you got to give Nurse a little grace with that because McCain at the time wasn't ready to play. Like he wasn't
No, that's
what
fair.
he is now.
That's fair.
It wasn't as
That's
now.
100% fair.
And I don't even last year, McCain and Embiid didn't play a lot because
Embiid was
he got hurt early, and so did McCain.
Yeah.
Got hurt early, so it is tough for me to watch him. I don't know about you guys. I'm watching his box score every time Oklahoma City plays. He's doing work. Now he's not filling the box score up. He's not getting much assists or rebounds. He's just shooting the hell out of the ball. Sixers could use that. But it's. I'm gonna say this again. My stance with McCain trade. I didn't really mind the trade. But they needed to get somebody back. They can't like subtract from a team that still like is a work in progress and not replace him with anybody. If they had gotten someone that maybe fit better or was a better long-term solution, because they need that many guards. I mean, I guess they do. I don't know, but I didn't mind the trade
No.
if they got somebody back, but they didn't get anybody.
Yeah, I think if you go back to the beginning of the season, I think we were all in agreement that McCain was probably going to be the odd man out. And, to your point, Chuck, the trade wasn't that much of a shock. It's just the fact that they didn't do anything else behind it.
Yeah.
That was the biggest
yeah.
shock for me.
Yeah,
And it-
that's the best way to put it. It wasn't. I thought the trade was a shock, but if they would have like just gotten, maybe taken those assets and got someone,
Right, you can make sense of it.
Yeah,
But you can't
but
make any
it
sense
doesn't
of,
make any
of
sense.
what the Sixers did to Jared McCain. There's no
And you
sense.
know what? You know what makes it interesting too is we've talked about him being the odd man out, and I've been on record saying that like it was going to be hard for him to find minutes down the stretch with the Sixers if he stayed on the Sixers. But you look at OKC, look at all the guards they have: SGA, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Caruso, AJ Mitchell,
That
and
now
McCain is
that's
still getting on the court. McCain is
Yeah.
so
still able to get minutes on a team like that. Talked about how many guards we have. They have way more guards than we do that
so
play big
that's an
minutes.
indictment on Nick Nurse. I mean, there's no other way to explain that. Nick Nurse could not figure out a way to get this guy on the court and keep him on the court. And admittedly, early on in the season, he may not have been playing for OKC early on in the season, but he was far along in his recovery for him to get at least 20 to 25 minutes a game. Fine 20, 25 minutes a game. You didn't have to play Maxi 44 minutes a
Right.
game, right?
Right.
You could have given 10 of those, not 10, but at least 5 of those minutes to McCain. And
Right,
then they
right.
just
Yeah,
couldn't
I
do
mean,
it.
I
Listen, he looked bad, right? He looked bad. We all said he looked bad, but he's coming off a major injury. You got to let him play through his mistakes and play through the injuries. And the Sixers
yeah,
just didn't
yeah,
do it.
he was getting there. Like
I thought he was getting there.
he
Not
was
every
getting
game,
there.
but like every 3 or 4 games,
Yeah,
he looked like the old Jared McCain.
yeah, yeah. I would love to see him if he was on the Sixers right now, what he would be doing. Unfortunately, and you guys, I like Morey. Yeah, it may cost him his job. I I think that it's a combination, not just that trade, but the fact that Maxey gets hurt, Embiid is out, Paul George has a suspension, Kelly gets hurt. They're probably going to be in the play-in.
When Grimes got hurt.
Quinn Grimes got hurt. So Morey probably didn't foresee this when he made the trade, but that's how people get fired. Like you
Right.
make a bad
It's- It's his
trade, and
job.
then
It's his job
you
to
get some
foresee
injury.
stuff like that.
What's that?
It's his job to foresee situations like that. That could come up.
Yeah,
If I make this trade and one of our guards gets hurt, like where are we then? Well, it turns out that 2 of our guards got hurt.
Well, let me
3 of our guards got hurt.
let me
Maxey,
ask you guys.
go ahead.
Well, suppose he had his marching orders from the owner was, dude, I don't care what you do, you need to get under I'm not paying this tax. I'm not paying it. I'm sorry. So do what you got to do, and that what he did was get rid of McCain.
That's
Like-
fire. That's a fireable offense when you have.
But I'm saying
Andre
if your
Drummond on
boss
the
is
team.
telling you get under the tax,
Kyle Lowry.
That's fine. You have Andre Drummond, Kyle Lowry, Oubre. You don't get rid of a 21-year-old
Oh, he had to throw
guy
Kyle
who
in
would have
there,
been
Chuck.
Rookie of the Year the previous year.
yeah.
You just don't get
Yeah,
rid of him.
and it may
Especially
cost
for
him his
nothing.
job.
Get nothing in return. Makes no sense.
And listen, I guess the counter argument to he's getting minutes on OKC is that a lot of games they play are over by the fourth quarter, and he's able to kind of get garbage time minutes in some cases. And with the Sixers, they're in more competitive games where they had to play their two-way guys and lean on that a little bit more. But I think it's still malpractice by Nick Nurse, and he should have found a way. I think overall he needs to be better with his rotations, and he should have found a way to get McCain on the court. But a guy that he has found ways to get on the court has been VJ Edgecombe, who's been playing superstar level basketball lately as the number 1 option for the Sixers. He had 35 points last night, hit 7 threes, and was really scoring from all 3 levels. He's been getting to his mid-range spots really nicely lately, scoring in transition, and not just attacking the rim, but looking for his jump shot, looking for his 3 in transition is something he's been doing. He's been looking excellent, and especially like with the way he's had to be the number 1, I think that makes it a little bit more impressive. He hasn't had to do this all year. So the fact that he's playing at this level, is, I think, just reinforcement that he's going to be a special player. But down the line, but how do you guys feel about VJ? Are we excited? Obviously, we are excited to see him in the playoffs later, but what are your takeaways from watching VJ lately?
My
I have some
takeaway
thoughts.
from
I want to hear
watching
Noah's
VJ.
thoughts though, real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to hear Noah's thoughts real quick on VJ's performance. I have some thoughts.
Well, I haven't been watching much of the Sixers lately, but
We do a podcast
the,
about the Sixers.
I feel like he was baiting you, Noah, on that one. He wanted to say that.
Go ahead. Stop it with that face.
it's nice to see VJ taking this leap, with all the other guys out. We're gonna need him in the playoffs to, be another on-ball creator. If we have the whole team together, who knows what's gonna happen with that. But it's nice to see him as a number one option. See, he has the capability of attacking on 3 levels. I feel like his mid-range has gotten a lot better throughout the season. He's been shooting efficiently from 3. His handle's gotten a little better. It's just good to see from a young player that my dad didn't want to draft and he wanted to take Derek Queen instead and trade Joel Embiid.
Those are facts.
I never said
Thank,
a word.
thank goodness Chuck.
I
Thank
don't know why
goodness
you
Chuck is
laughing. Those are
in
facts.
Jaron
Why are you
Moore's
laughing right
position.
now? That's-
Because that's you guys are like not representing me well. That was I'm not gonna get into it. What I will say, I gotta ask a question about this because I know we do a podcast, but I haven't been really watching Sixers either. I can't stay up that late. Like they were on the West Coast. They play Utah. They play Sacramento. I can't, guys. I go to bed at 8:30. I can't stay up that late.
30. Guess what time you get up?
No,
That's what time he goes to
I
bed.
go to bed at 8:30.
Oh.
So I wasn't watching those games. And I didn't
He's
watch
ready to
yesterday's
scold
game. I knew it
you.
was going to be a blowout. My question, though, like, if you guys are watching, like, is it like what Quentin Grimes was doing last year, like scoring all those points because he was the only option? Or do you see, like, development from VJ? And if you are you giving Nick Nurse credit for that?
No, there is definitely there's definite, how can I put this? His development has been it's been an eye opener because even when Grimes was playing and Grimes started doing his Grimes thing, what he did last year when he was like shooting 25 times a game, you still saw VJ steadily increase his production across the board, both sides of the ball. You guys are going to kill me when I say this, but when I watch him play, he reminds me of a baby Kawhi. Baby Kawhi Leonard.
Wow, okay.
More so than
Not- More so than who?
an Anthony Edwards.
Anthony, he reminds you of Anthony Edwards, VJ does?
A little bit.
No,
the
he
sense that-
reminds me of Kawhi just in his movements for the most part. He has a very straight up and down jump shot. A jump shot that he didn't have in college, same way with Kawhi. And he comes into the league and he's all of a sudden he's not a knockdown 3-point shooter, but more often than not, you expect it to go in when he pulls up. When he's at an open shot, I expect it to go in. He doesn't
Sure,
have the
but-
mid-range game that Kawhi has right now, but he's developing that part of his game. His
Are you
arsenal.
giving Nick Nurse any credit for this development?
Chuck, I think he's an NBA player. I think he was going to develop no matter who his coach is. So, like, I don't give him credit for his development the same way I don't give, Larry Brown a bunch of credit for Allen Iverson's development. Like, he's going to be who he is. They're NBA players. They have a lot of talent. They're going to be who they are, no matter.
In a
who their
way.
coach is.
I don't know. And no, I know you want to say something. I don't know a lot of coaches who would have. Again, I go back to like the beginning of the year during summer league. They gave him the ball to play point. And Troy, we've talked about this before.
Doc
If
Rivers
Glenn Rivers, was the
Glenn
coach-
Rivers is an idiot. But
But would-
I don't
would
want
he-
to bring
but
up
I'm
Glenn
saying-
Rivers because he's an idiot. He's a dummy. No,
I know
he
he's a
wouldn't
dummy.
have. He would
he
not.
would, yeah, he
have.
wouldn't
In
even.
ba- in
VJ wouldn't be
basketball,
starting.
He's probably, but like what I mean to say is Glenn Rivers is probably one of, or maybe a handful of coaches that wouldn't have done that. because they're so stuck in their ways about rookies. Duck
I think a
Collins is
lot of
another guy.
coaches would have.
Duck Collins is another guy that would probably be like, yeah, I'm not playing him. He's a rookie.
No, but I think a lot of coaches would have. They're coaching for their jobs. They would have started Maxey and Grimes instead of Maxey and VJ. I think
Not if
a good
VJ,
percentage of coaches would have done that.
Chuck, not if VJ was the best player or outside of Maxey, the best guard in camp. If he's the best guard in camp, he should get the nod. I think most people with common sense, most coaches with common sense would say, I'm just going to play my best players.
I agree. But Grimes is not a slouch. Like,
He's not a
I think
slouch,
Nick
but
Nurse. I think he deserves a little bit of credit, but not the majority of the credit. I think he definitely deserves a little bit of the credit for the way that his team has kind of stayed afloat and they found a way to put VJ in these positions to be successful. But he's a hardworking kid. Like my dad said, I think that it was inevitable he would have figured it out and
your dad
improved
just-
his rookie year.
your
And
dad just doesn't want to give Nurse any credit. No, what were you about to say?
I don't.
I was gonna say in regards to you guys talking about like giving Nick Nurse credit for keeping the Sixers afloat, like we're still the 7th seed with all these injuries. I don't think the Sixers beat a single like good team like without while these injuries
Yeah.
were happening, or Maxey Embiid, Paul George. Like they beat a couple of like the bottom dwellers.
But what game did you expect them to win that they didn't win?
At least not win, but at least make it a close game. Like I don't like anytime they played a good team, they lost by like 2 points at least.
I think a lot. I agree with that, but I think a loss is a loss.
That's
I don't
that's a
know.
fair
More
point.
Style
That's
points.
definitely a fair point. They have not played anybody, really, or have not beaten anybody since Maxey went down.
Yeah.
But you do play who's in front of you, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
So I think he does deserve a little bit of credit.
Kobe, before we get off the basketball, I just want to have time to rant real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say one more thing about Marjin Bootcamp, who's actually been playing really well. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he's a former first-round pick, and he's been 11 of 27 from 3 in his last few games. He hit 3 of them last night. Seems like a pretty solid two-way player.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned it before, with all these injuries, we have the chance to really develop our depth and give guys like Justin Edwards more opportunities. Even Campaign, who we're going to have to rely on in the playoffs, whether we like it or not, they're going to have to play. And them getting big time minutes now, just getting reps in NBA games is, I think, going to pay huge dividends when we do get a full roster back. And seeing guys like him, start to find their form from 3, it's pretty exciting. I mean, former first round pick, he has good size, can kind of play both ways, can shoot the ball a little bit. I like what I'm seeing from guys like him, from guys like Justin Edwards, and I'm looking forward to seeing them get back to full strength. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Chuck?
Well, just to kind of pivot off the Sixers real quick, I was watching the Spurs Heat game yesterday. Wemby's a freak, and I know Troy's he wants to take his victory lap on, beginning of the year. Wemby, I forgot what you said, Troy. Maybe win MVP, whatever. I'm not
Spurs
giving you
win
any
title.
credit though. Yeah, I'm not giving you any credit.
I give myself credit. You don't have to give it to me.
But
I don't need it.
to say
I don't need it from anyone
a
else. I don't
7'4",
need it from anyone else.
a
but myself.
7'4" freak of nature is
You didn't
really
say
good.
it. You didn't say it.
I don't know. It's obvious.
You didn't say it. You didn't say he was going to be like winning MVP.
Yeah, I'll give you a little credit with that because I didn't think it would be this year. I thought maybe one day we'll win MVP.
I know. I'm ahead of the
He
curve.
was he looked like an MVP last night. I've never seen a person affect the game offensively and defensively like he did. And that says a lot. I watched a lot of basketball. I can't remember. Like Shaq was so dominant offensively. Like he shifted the way he forced the other team to play a big person. Like you couldn't play small ball against Shaq because you just couldn't. But he didn't have the impact that Wemby's having on defense. Even though Shaq was a really good defensive player. But that's really I don't want to rant about that. My rant is, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but listening to the announcers just praise the Spurs on making the playoffs after 7 years. And Troy, you said it, like they might be the only organization where they won't get a lot of slack for missing the playoffs that many years in a row and get praised. That team is super talented, and it's not. I'm not saying their coach is not good, but it's not coaching. It's not culture. It's the fact that for 7 years they accumulated lottery picks. Same thing with Detroit. You can talk the same thing with Oklahoma City to some extent. Same thing with Charlotte. They were bad for so long, and they were able to accumulate this young talent. And it's super frustrating because the Sixers nationally, they don't have that grace. They can't. They're the face of tanking, even though they didn't tank that long. And they just don't get the opportunity, like, just be. No, don't get me wrong. I'll be frustrated. If Sixers make the playoffs for 7 years in a row, like, they were burning city down.
But Chuck, in the case of the Sixers, I think they did get grace. They got grace when it was Ben and Embiid and Redick and Sarge and Covington, and then they got Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. They got a lot of grace. They just couldn't finish. They could not close the deal.
Well, that talent.
And I think that's where people take away the grace.
Besides Ben and
accumulated
Embiid and Ben, those were that wasn't like drafted talent. That was I see what you're saying. Like, but what grace did they get? What they lost to Kawhi.
But they were always like, oh, Sixers, they could win a championship. They're one of the top 5 teams that's going to win a championship this year. Like that's giving them some grace, right? The Sixers just could never get close. They couldn't even get out of the second round. So obviously that grace is going to get taken away from them. That's just how life is.
I guess the grace I'm looking for. Don't even give the Sixers credit. But don't.
Why do you hate the Spurs? Why do you hate the Spurs so much?
Because
what did they do to you?
How are they? They're like. I
What
forgot
did
the
they
word
do to
like
you?
the announcer used.
Are you mad because they get the chance the Spurs fans get a chance to watch Wemby after watching Tim Duncan and David Robinson for all those years?
Yes. Well, that's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it too. And they tank for those players too.
I felt a little something with that too. But listen, they have a very well run organization. Like I can't
7 years. That was before COVID. Noah was in high school. He's a freshman in high school when they last made the playoffs.
My guess is they would have made. They would have been in the playoffs a few more times had Kawhi not just kind of flipped out on them and be like, "Yeah, you got to trade me." Like that messed them up, right?
Are you saying the national media is looking at that and saying, "Oh"? I wish I knew the wording that the announcer used. I almost like threw something on my TV. It was almost like
I don't
congratulating
know
them for making the playoffs after 7 years of not making it. You hear the same thing with Detroit, and you hear it with Charlotte.
But Chuck, so most teams most announcers will say that about a team that hasn't made a playoff run in close to a decade.
All right, that's fine. I don't want to hear about coaching and culture. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to hear it.
Well, you have to give them a little bit of credit.
It is losing and accumulating your talent. That's what it is.
You can have talent, Chuck. To counter that, Chuck, you can have talent and still not win games. I mean, even with the Charlotte Hornets, they were tanking for how many years and accumulated LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and we're still one of the worst teams in the East before getting Concanipple this year. So, I mean, you can have talent and still not do the right things because you don't have that culture in place. The Spurs had a culture in place. They had a pipeline. Like you mentioned, Tim Duncan and all those guys that allowed the organization to stay that the way it was, to be ready for the pieces, to be received when they got them. So I think that you give them a little bit of credit for maintaining a good organization.
With Charlotte, I think it's Miller and Ball staying healthy. some of those young players have developed in some way, and they got
Chuck,
Knipple to kind of bring everything together. Like I think it's players. They accumulated talent.
Chuck,
God
but
bless
going
them
back
for
to
it.
the Sixers. Going back to the Sixers. I mean, the Spurs didn't trade away didn't have the third pick in the draft, trade up for the first pick in the draft, and pick arguably one of the bigger busts in the draft.
They didn't have to. They already had the first pick.
trade- They didn't trade a guy that they could have used for the next 10 years for a guy that they tried to poison with peanuts. Right?
Troy, because they were picking first or second.
It doesn't matter. But like, look at how many mistakes that the Sixers have made when
Yes, I
when
agree. I agree.
came to the draft. Like the Spurs didn't make those mistakes, right? If the Sixers were running the Spurs, Stephen Castle would have been on the Knicks at this point in time.
Stephon Castle.
Maybe.
Steph-
I think
right.
they had their room for.
Right?
They didn't have
We
the same
wouldn't have
room
drafted
for error.
Dylan Harper. We would have drafted Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
Speaking of young
Hold up.
players, Phillies.
Hold up, Cole. Real
One more
quick.
thing.
This is the last thing I'm going to interrupt you. I know if Drew is here, we get on me right now. Ace Bailey's going to be a player. He's going to be all right.
Have you watched
I
a lot of Ace
thought-
Bailey this year to say that?
No, but the last
Well,
couple of
the
games
Sixers
he's
game, I thought he
been
played
putting
well,
up
and
some.
then-
He's been putting up some
He had
numbers.
37 last night.
Yeah. I think that was like his third 30-point game in like the past week or so.
Yeah, he's going to be okay.
He's been playing well.
He's not, and I didn't realize he was only 19. I knew he was young. I just forgot he was drafted at 18. Like he's a young dude. He's going to be all right.
We'll be
So, I'm
good.
sorry,
We'll be
Cole,
good
go
for
ahead.
Utah Jazz. Speaking of young players, Philly's got a couple of young players to be excited about with opening day this week in the MLB. You guys got your first game tomorrow night, I believe. Yankees play Thursday.
No,
No,
our
I
game
think
is
the Phillies
Thursday
play
also.
Thursday too.
Phillies play Thursday too.
Yankees-
That's opening day Thursday, right?
Or Yankees play tomorrow night. That's the opening day. That's the opening
Okay.
day game.
Against
the
who?
Giants. The Giants.
Giants.
So how you guys feel about opening day? I mean, I know the Yankees, really excited about Garrett Cole coming back. He's still going through rehab. So Max Fried will be the opening day starter, but super excited to see Cole and the boys. Jazz think he's going to have a big year. How do you guys feel about the Phillies? What are your outlooks for opening day?
Go Noah.
What are you
You guys
most
don't wanna-
excited about? What are you most excited about?
You know, there's a lot of people in this world, a lot of Phillies fans in this world, and a lot of baseball fans who think, the Phillies, like they're tired of what the Phillies are doing. They're boring, blah, blah, blah. They didn't add enough this year. Last year, the Phillies had one of them is right there. Yeah, I wasn't just talking about him though. The last year, the Phillies won 96 games or something, right? They did that with Bryce Harper being banged up all year. And Jordan Romano was our closing pitcher for majority of the season. We also had Nick Castellanos, not a lot of people like him. I think it's like a black hole of on the baseball field. I'm a fan of Casty. I like his attitude, but he's pretty mid player. We got a lot of old guys on the team, especially last year. But this season we got Andrew Painter coming up. We got a new improved bullpen. We have Duran for the whole year. Brad Keller, who was one of the best closers, one of the best relief pitchers in the league last year. Alvarado's back from suspension. Like, there's not many bottom threes of the bullpen that are better than that right there. Compared to last year, we had Jordan Romano coming in the game and he's single-handedly losing us games. Hopefully this year Bryce returns back to the Bryce we all know. Everyone wants to say that he's not elite anymore. The man had his worst season of his career last year. He still had like 850 OPS when he was banged up all year. I'm expecting him to have a good year. I'm sure he'll use Dave Dombrowski's words as fuel this season. Bryson Stott, after last year he was struggling beginning of the season. he made an adjustment, having his hands lower in his batting stance, and I'm like around halfway through the year, and then at the end of the year, he improved his numbers to like an 800 some OPS, and he carried it on in the spring training this year. So hopefully he could provide, the back end of our lineup with some juice. He's also a great defender. That's never been a problem with him. It's just the guys like that. The back end of this lineup, if those guys play, which they had a lot of room for improvement coming off last year, especially Bohm on a contract year. He has something to prove this year. Hopefully he stops grounding into double plays with runners in scoring position like he always does. I'm not too I wasn't as I could agree that thinking about it earlier into the offseason, like I wasn't as excited coming into this year as I thought I would be. But, as of lately, I've been more optimistic about it. I still think Chris Sanchez, Wheeler's hurt for like a good month or two to start the season. But Sanchez, he's, like a top 5 pitcher in the league. Luzardo, he had like a couple blow-up starts, but all his underlying metrics, like he's like probably like a top 20, 15 pitcher in the league as well. Nola, he played good in the WBC. I'm not sure what that'll mean coming in the season. And Taijuan Walker, he didn't have that bad of a year last year, as bad as it may have seemed. Just the thought of Taijuan Walker pitching for your team. He was pretty solid last year, actually. So, maybe he'll be solid this year too. And Painter, he's one of the most hyped up pitching prospects, around. I think he's going to play good. He missed a couple years off of injury, but he looked good in the spring training. He had some pretty good numbers there. So, I thought there was a lot of things that Phillies could have been better at last year, and they still had 96 wins. So I don't think they're going to drop off as much as some people do. I don't know what you guys think.
I saw you guys got to pick up a draft pick, it seemed like, that you traded to the Nationals, and you got it back in the form of a right-hander, pretty high strikeout guy, McGarry. I don't know how much you know about him, but I was reading about it. It seemed like he's going to be a big arm in the bullpen. Maybe I don't know if he's a starter. Do you know anything about? I think his name's Greg McGarry. Fact check that.
I don't know much about him. I do want to say I like Noah's breakdown. I'm surprised that he didn't have the pitching overall, like the starting pitcher, as the what he's looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Bryce as well. Like I think great players they need some kind of motivation to get them going. I think Bryce is going to use that, but I'm really excited about seeing what the starting pitching does. Even without Wheeler for like the first month and a half, Sanchez, they just extended his contract. He's going to make big money. He doesn't have to worry about money the rest of his life. He's going to be a Philly. I'm excited about that. Luzardo as well. They gave him a big contract. They're going to be Phillies for a long time. Nola, I think most teams would take Nola as their third starter. And quite honestly, he is probably their fourth starter when Wheeler gets back. So I'm really excited about the starting pitching. The bullpen, Phillies probably have top 3 bullpen in baseball, not just the National League. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Pitching wins, especially early in the season. The pitching usually outperforms the hitting in March and April. So hopefully the Phillies get up to a good start. The last thing, me and Troy talked about this. I'm probably off camera, but I'm hoping that we as a podcast and Philly fans in general give players like Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter grace. They're rookies. Baseball is a game of failure. if you fail less than most people, you go to the Hall of Fame. But it's a game of failure, and they're going to be learning how to like hit and pitch in the major leagues, and they're going to have some good games and some bad games. But I think they're going to be exciting. I wish Crawford just showed a little bit more power. Hopefully he grows into something like that. But he's going to be hitting ninth, so we need to really treat him like a ninth hitter. But he's super fast. He seems to get his bat on the ball. If he can keep his strikeouts down, I think he's going to add something to this team. I know you know, most of you guys were looking for a little pop of color on the Phillies lineup. He could do that. And same thing with Painter. I don't think he's going to have a ton of pressure on him as a fifth starter. But I think he's going to, just like most pitchers, he's going to do well. Some games he's going to struggle in other games, but overall I think he's going to do well on this team. So I'm excited. I always get excited at the beginning of the baseball season. I think Bryce is going to have he's going to have a little chip on his shoulder. It's going to be awesome. At the end of the day, just like I felt the way last year, I think it's going to be a struggle to win a division. I think the Phillies can win the division, but the Mets are going to be tough. Atlanta's going to be tough. And then, obviously, if they even make the playoffs, the Dodgers are just right now, they're just on a different, they're playing by different rules than everyone else. And I don't know.
I do have a
If,
question.
If the Phillies
I
could
do have
withstand.
a question. Listen, before I ask my question, if I didn't know this team like the back of my hand, and I listened to Noah's assessment of this team, I would be hyped. It was a great, it, it was a great assessment of the team and like what to look forward to. I would definitely be hyped. My question is, are you worried about Rob Thompson? Is there any concern with who the manager is and how he manages? And can he make the proper adjustments?
Not in the regular
Not just
season.
from year to
I
year.
think-
I mean, not just from game to game. I mean, from year to year. Like, to me, he's never made any adjustments, and that's concerning to me.
I think
Oh,
there's
well,
legitimate
okay.
concern. I think during the regular season, he won't be. I think he could get the Phillies to like 95, 96, 97
Mhm.
wins.
Right.
There might be some concern in the playoffs, for whatever the reason. But I'm going to cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm trying to keep expectations low. I think the Phillies can make the playoffs. I think they have the best pitching in the division, but they don't have the best lineup.
The Phillies will make the playoffs, not can.
Okay. Did you? Well, I think they can make the playoffs. This time last year, were you thinking? I guess no. My question to you is: last year, this time, and then what were you thinking of the Phillies and where they ended up? Did they meet your expectations? Because they met mine. Because I thought the Mets or the Braves were going to win the division. Phillies not only won the division, they had the second most wins in baseball. Did they meet your expectations last year, even knowing what you know? How they lost to the Dodgers?
I mean, last year it didn't really even feel like they were the second best record in baseball. Especially in the beginning of the year, they started off. If I remember correctly, they started off pretty well, but then they kind of died off for a little bit.
Yeah.
Rough.
Ebbs and flows. It's a long season. Yeah.
During the back end of the season, they heated up again. I don't know. Like last year, I don't really remember how I was feeling before the season. But
Well,
like I said earlier, I feel like there was a lot of room for improvement for the Phillies last year, and they still won 96 games. And
I thought they overachieved in the regular season. That Dodgers series was. I know you guys don't hear, but I thought it was pretty close.
it was pretty cool. There was like literally in 2 of the games we lost, there were like some
I agree. I remember you kind of bounced my head off when I mentioned that after the playoffs. Like I thought it was close. That was a close series.
Let's not talk about that night. That was a horrible night in
Okay, which
Philadelphia
is fine.
sports history.
So
Between the Phillies
my
losing and the
expectations,
Eagles
this
losing to the
this
Giants.
going like I think the division's going to be tough. I know Atlanta's dealing with some injuries right now. The Mets going to be tough, but I think the Phillies have better pitching. I think they have a better lineup. I
Atlanta,
think the Phillies have a chance to win a. They might be. I think they're third in odds to win the World Series.
Really?
Yeah, look that up. I don't know if it's National League or overall baseball, but they're third in odds to win it. But I think they can meet my expectations, and if they win a division, we'll see. We'll go to war against the Dodgers and see what happens.
What's that noise? Does somebody have like a computer, another computer running in the background? You guys hear that?
I think that's
Yeah, I do hear it.
Oh, it might be you, Zach.
No, is he muted? Oh no, he just spoke.
Are you muted, Zach?
Now it stopped.
No, it stopped.
Yeah, Zach.
All right.
It sounded intense. Yeah. Well,
Well,
looking forward to see how.
just so everyone's clear, I'm not excited for the beginning of the season.
Oh, really?
You
I
can
didn't think that.
continue
I thought
No,
you were
not,
going to
not
be super
until the
excited
Phillies get
about
a
it.
No.
little more
No.
diversity in their team.
I
Who
just-
knows? Who knows how the season
listen,
plays out? How, they might make a signing
Even if
at the
they
deadline.
get more diversity in the team, I'm still not going to be excited. Like
Until
it's
until he sees.
into the playoffs.
the bats
I gotta-
wake up in the
It's a
playoffs.
wait and see. It's a wait and see
Wait and see.
with me and the
Well,
Phillies at this point in time.
Troy, I don't want to. Hold that thought, Noah. No, you go first. I'm sorry. Go, Noah.
I didn't really talk about Justin Crawford, but like, there's no way he's gonna be worse than Johan Rojas was for us.
At the plate or in the outfield?
Either. Even
That's
if
me knocking on wood, by the way. That's me knocking.
I feel like
on
he's
wood.
just as good as a
that's
defender,
good.
maybe a little worse of a defender than
Yes.
Rojas is, but yeah, at least he makes contact with the ball. He's gonna. I don't know, like Rojas, he's a terribly below average hitter.
I remember him being a black hole in your lineup in the playoffs. He was like the 8 or 9 hitter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember him.
I don't
Oh.
think Troy's giving. Like,
Listen,
you know
I'm
how hard it
excited
is
about
to make the
Crawford.
playoffs in baseball?
I'm excited.
Feels
about
like in the
Crawford.
last 4 years. And
I'm
it's like,
excited about Painter. Crawford,
you're-
Painter. I'm excited.
He is excited.
Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry, Chuck. Sorry to interrupt. you.
no, I don't think you understand how hard it is to make the playoffs in baseball. It's not like basketball where, 10 teams make it in each conference.
It's a lot easier than it used to be.
I suppose, but it's the hardest sport to do it. Like they made it the last 4 years. You got to give them a little credit with that. And last year, I didn't even think I thought the Braves and Mets will be better. They exceeded my expectations last year.
In what
I think
way?
they exceeded most people's expectations last year. And then
In what way?
this time last year, not too many people were thinking they were going to win the division. And they had the second most wins in baseball.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say after the Mets got Juan Soto, everyone was high on the
Yeah.
Mets
Absolutely.
to win the division.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens this year. I mean, I just like baseball, so I'm excited, like just kind of like having it in the background when I'm like doing stuff around the house, or if I'm going for a hike, I like listening to my earbuds. I just want to just the comfort of it. I kind of like it.
I think I just expect too much from the teams that I root for. I expect more from them.
No, your
than most
expectations for
fans
the
do.
Phillies are higher than the Sixers, the Eagles, the Flyers.
Not higher than the Eagles. Not higher than the Eagles. Definitely higher than the Sixers. Based on the past 5 years, yes, my expectations for the Phillies, they should have won a World Series by now.
That's a fair assessment.
Get out of here, Kobe.
Speaking
It is.
of things that we all like health, we all like fitness. that's what we're going to transition
Yo.
to, our health and fitness corner. With no Drew today, we're going to skip the pop culture update. On our fitness corner, I don't know, Dad, if you have anything to share, but I have a quick tip for everyone out there that is into exercise or that is trying to get into exercise. I would advise do exercises that you enjoy, and you'll do them more. Right? You may not love the way that you look initially, but you'll develop a good relationship with exercise, which can lead to getting to that next level of loving how you look. So, for example, if someone loves cardio, if they love doing the Stairmaster, right? They can do the Stairmaster all day long. But if there's someone that's also trying to build muscle, lose body fat, right, the Stairmaster is not going to be ideal for that, to say the least. Their endurance is going to get a whole lot better. Their cardiovascular health is going to go up. And they're doing, at the end of the day, something they enjoy. So they'll stay consistent with it, unless it becomes like an addiction to the point where if they don't do the Stairmaster a day, their day is ruined. You don't want to get to that point. But I think that there's a lot to say about having a good relationship with exercise through doing the things that, you enjoy doing. If you do something you enjoy, you'll do it a lot more. And, say that person did get started with strength training from the point that they're at with a Stairmaster, they'll be in a much better position to see way more results with lifting weights, with the endurance base that they've built from doing all that cardio. So they'll be in a much better spot than somebody that's coming off of doing nothing and trying to get into strength training, trying to lose body fat and change their body composition, than somebody that's been doing, at least a little bit of something. So my tip in this fitness corner is to do what you enjoy, and you'll most likely end up loving the way that you look, and you'll stay consistent with exercise.
So when you say, just to be clear, when you say do what you enjoy, you mean you're not talking about going into a gym and let's say you hate doing squats,
Right.
so you stay away from squats. You're talking about I enjoy running, so let me just run
If somebody hates
versus
squats,
weightlifting. Mm-hmm.
if somebody hates barbell, I assume you're talking about barbell squats.
Yeah.
If somebody hates barbell squats, you can do a modification. You can do dumbbell squats. You can.
But let's just assume. Can you hear me? Let's just assume they just hate squatting. Period. Because it hurts their knees or whatever. Or.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you. Because it hurts their knees. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? No,
Yes.
I don't think he can. Colby, can you hear me? Can you pause it, Chuck?
I don't know what happened. Anyway, I can't hear my own mic, but you guys can hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear
You can do a modification. You can do dumbbell squats. You can do body weight squats. You can do assisted squats on TRX.
I guess my
straps.
point
I
is,
can actually
I guess
hear
my
you guys.
point is, if I hate squats, but I know squats is going to make my legs grow, should I not do it and try something else, or just bite the bullet, and start doing squats, even though I hate them? He's gone.
So, Troy, what I got out of what Kobe said was, that, I talk about pickleball a lot. So I really attacked my rehab of my shoulder so I can get back on the court. So I was doing a lot of stuff I don't enjoy doing, but I wanted to play pickleball again. So I kind of got that out of Kobe. Like, just find, like, if it may not be the exercise, and again, Kobe, correct me if I'm wrong, it may not be like the exercise, but it might be something you like to do physically
Oh yeah.
that you have a passion for.
Right. So
Right.
you're
But
talking
you
about
need to do these exercises to be good at that one thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's the way I
it-
kind of took it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to come down to just squats and bench presses and exercises in the gym. It could.
So
it
you're
could
talking more
be-
of a macro event versus like micro. Meaning not going to, not like if I'm into weightlifting, not going into the gym, you don't mean going into the gym and like picking certain exercises. You mean
I mean
if
that
I'm into weightlifting, let me go weightlift instead of run
right.
if I hate running.
Yeah, you could use the macro and the micro discussion with this. You could make that comparison between weightlifting and cardio or specific exercises. I kind of mean it
Okay.
both ways.
Oh,
Like you
okay.
can pick exercises that whatever you like, you're gonna do more of it. So whether that's exercises that you like doing or whether that's a form of exercise that you enjoy doing, that could be going for walks. It could be as simple as going for walks or doing chores around the house if you do it enough times and throughout the day. So it could be anything.
I always try to challenge myself and do exercises that I don't like to do. You know, you just kind of, if I continue to do the things that I like eventually I'll plateau. My body will plateau. It'll get boring. And, you know, I always kind of like to challenge myself. So, like when I go to the gym, if I'm working on arms, I'll do an arm exercise that I know it's gonna be painful, but I'll do it. You know, just as a challenge and just to keep things fresh for myself. Um, so
Yeah, you're great about switching things up and trying new things, I think, Dad. And I think you can, when someone like you that's worked out for as long as you have, you'll develop an arsenal of exercises that you can go to, and you'll have a lot of options when you go into the gym compared to somebody that doesn't. So you can kind of like pick. And I think, you mentioned, you have to switch things up. I think you can kind of do the same things that you enjoy, but switch up things within those things that you do. So like you can change the sets, you can change the rep counts, you can
yeah,
change the tempo, and still do those same exercises forever
right,
and see results.
right.
So,
Right.
but yeah, that's I understand what you're saying.
Hubert
You
Davis
know,
will not return as North Carolina head coach.
Really, I was gonna ask you, son, did you want
any
him
breaking
back?
news?
So that must have
Wow, that's
been.
that's
I feel, I kind of feel bad for him.
You called for his
Um,
head last week, Troy.
I know, but like I kind of feel bad for him. But you know, he is getting paid through 2030, I believe. So, you know, I don't feel, you know, extremely bad for him. I just kind of feel bad for him. But a lot of it is based on his recruiting. Like I couldn't tell if he was a good X and O's coach because he didn't really have the players to execute whatever game plan that he wanted, and
I
that goes
heard
to
that.
his recruiting.
I heard for some reason. I heard this on, I think NBA radio, that North Carolina doesn't have the NIL money that most schools have for some reason. Did you hear that?
I I I haven't heard that, and that would be very hard for me to believe.
yeah.
That
Maybe
would be
they
hard.
don't
I
want to.
was shocked when I
Maybe
heard
they
that.
don't want to spend it, right?
Can't they just call Michael
Maybe
Jordan?
maybe Hubert Davis does not want to spend it like that.
The money's there. It has to be there in North
But the
Carolina.
money, even if the money isn't there for Hubert Davis, it will
Zach,
be
can you find
when
out
somebody else
like
steps
what
in.
North Carolina's NIL budget is versus like other schools? I don't know if you can look that up, Zach.
Noah, I'm assuming they didn't name a new coach. Okay.
Yeah, I think it
I,
was after thinking about it for a little bit, I do think it was time. I think it was time for them to move on from him. Like he's been there for 5 years. They did go to the. Can you guys hear me? They did go to the national
yeah.
championship. That his first year, they won the ACC once in his 5 years. That's just not. For a lot of other coaches, it would be a good resume, but for North Carolina, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. So I think it was time for
Can
him
we
to move on.
can we talk about like is the North Carolina aura, is that over? Like Kobe's talking about for North Carolina, that's just not good enough. I mean,
No,
It's
no.
not. No,
eh,
no.
eh,
There's-
It's not.
eh.
Chuck, this is coming. Son, remember, this is coming from a guy who doesn't watch college basketball anymore. He hasn't watched a college
Don't.
basketball game in 25 years. All right, so we don't need to listen to what he has
Eh.
to say.
North Carolina.
Listen, have they been a top program in the last few years when it comes to wins and tournament success? No, they haven't. But it's still North Carolina. Like the pipeline is still there. The tradition is still there. Caleb Wilson was one of the
Pipeline.
top players in the country who just committed there this past season. They're still getting the players. Everything is still there. They're still North Carolina.
Colby,
So they have to
son.
continue
Sons, hold on. Let me interrupt you real quick. I'm sorry. They're getting the players. They're not keeping the players. I've never seen so many transfers, so many guys transfer out of North Carolina after 1 or 2 years. And I think that's one of the biggest issues. You transfer into North Carolina. You don't leave North Carolina. You don't leave Chapel Hill. Right? And that's what's been
That's
happening.
why the money
And I
might
think
be.
that's
That might be the money issue, Troy.
Well, again, the money has to be there. The money's there. It's Chapel Hill. It's North Carolina. It's the ACC. They're a blue blood, one of the greatest programs in college basketball history. You don't think they have the boosters and donors?
I think they do.
They've been
I'm
paying
telling you, I
players
heard-
for years. They've been playing players for decades. Like, come on, the money's there.
I agree. I just heard that and it shocked me. I meant to bring that up.
If that's the case, and if that's true, I think that's more of Hubert Davis not wanting to spend that type of money or recruit
But
that way.
is that up to him? I don't know how it works. I don't know how to work.
I
Is it up
don't-
to the coach?
I'm sure it's
Okay.
a collective. I'm sure it's a collective between the coach, the AD. Now you have GMs. Carolina has a GM now. I'm sure he had a big say in Hubert Davis not being there anymore. And maybe he has a bigger say in how much money is going to be available to these recruits. So I'm
excited.
disappointed. I'm disappointed because as a Carolina fan, I haven't seen a lot of transition with coaches. I've seen 3, and 2 of them were not that great. So I am a little disappointed,
I'm looking forward.
even though I do think change needed to be had. So
Are there any names out there, Dad, that
that I would want.
Yeah, that you'd want that come to the top of your mind?
Is Larry Brown available?
Oh my God, Troy. He's the Walking Dead.
He's
I mean, you would have to
He's
imagine.
90.
You
You
have
keep
to
it in the
imagine.
family.
Yeah,
No, I can't. Maybe Wes Miller. I would have to give Wes Miller a long look. You have Jeff Lebo, who was his assistant, but he basically
Wes
had
Miller
no help.
Wes Miller just got hired by Charlotte
Did he? When?
yesterday.
All right, well,
He's
he's
out.
out. I wouldn't take any of his assistants because they didn't seem to help him out at all, Hubert Davis. So, I don't know. They're going to have to do an extensive search. I do think, Carolina is the type of place where they want to keep things in the family. You may have to go outside the family now and get an outsider. So.
Why do you say that?
Because keeping it in the family, because there's really no one in the pipeline that's going to come in to me and continue that tradition. You may have to have a new tradition, and some new voices, right? Like I'm sure Hubert Davis was coaching in his own way, but he had Roy Williams behind him. And you may need to go away from that and just get some some new ideas in here, some new voices.
He was right after Roy Williams.
Yeah, Roy Williams handpicked Hubert Davis.
I really thought Roy Williams was still at North Carolina until like
What?
a week ago. I thought Roy Williams was still at
You
North Carolina.
do know we're doing a podcast, right? That you should keep up with sports.
Yes.
A sports
By the way,
podcast.
I looked up some of the NIL money. It doesn't break it down by sports. It just says like overall. Football seems to take up a lot of the NIL money throughout college sports. But North Carolina is up there. The only schools really, according to this, that spend more money. And again, this is football, all sports. I guess men's and women. Texas, Ohio State, Texas Tech, Miami, Ole Miss, LSU, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Michigan. And North Carolina's like right after those schools.
Yeah.
So you don't like see like Duke or anything. I don't know. You don't see. I don't see any like other. Is Miami in ACC? I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
who's in ACC.
Miami's in ACC.
Okay, besides Miami, there's no other like ACC school in there. They're in the upper, as they put it in this. They're in the upper tier.
Colby, I think one more.
So, yeah, they have
one
money.
more- I think one more issue with Hubert Davis was the lack of development, even with the kids that were there for 2, 3, 4 years. Like RJ Davis, he's a good player, but I don't think he got any better as a point guard.
Really?
I didn't think so. I didn't think Caleb Love got any better playing under Hubert Davis.
What was the last big prospect that like came out of North Carolina into the NBA?
Well, Dad.
It was
I think
under
that-
Roy. It was under Roy. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Caleb Wilson is going to be the biggest one. Biggest one in like the last 10 years.
Okay.
Biggest what?
Prospect coming out of Carolina.
Cole Anthony was the #1 point guard we got a few years ago.
Where was he? Yeah, where was he? He was drafted what? Like in 6th, 7th, 8th, around there somewhere. I guess Cole Anthony. That's a good one. That's a good one.
But RJ was National Player of the Year candidate towards the end of his tenure at Carolina.
Yeah.
I know you said point guard.
Harrison
said-
Barnes.
Yeah, that was under Roy. That was Roy. Yeah, that was that may
so
have been the
long
last one.
ago.
Yeah.
That's,
But like, all right, son. So give me a player who you think improved under Hubert Davis.
No, I think you have a point. Like Seth Trimble. Seth Trimble really, I don't think he got that much better in his 4 years.
And growing up as a Carolina fan, I could watch, a guy like Serge Zwicker, who was from Germany, 7 foot.
wow.
He was horrible his freshman year, and then he goes to Pete Newell's big man camp his sophomore year, and he's like one of the better centers in the ACC, like just out of the blue, and that's Dean Smith knowing what he needs to work on, sends him someplace for him to work on it, and then just does a great job continuing his development, right? And I just that's been lost the last 5 years under Hubert.
Well, can't wait to see who they look to get. I think that ideally
I
you'd
can
like
wait.
to keep it in the family, but I think you have a point, Dad. They won't be. They might not be able to, considering the list of options they'll have. But speaking of the tournament, we have the Sweet 16 coming up, guys, Thursday and Friday. You non-college basketball heads, hopefully you've been watching a little bit. I mean, it is March Madness after all, so hopefully you've been tuned in, tapped in. We got Arizona, Arkansas, I think is a big matchup that I'm looking forward to. Darius Acuff Jr., the freshman point guard, he's projected top 10 in the NBA draft this
Chuck,
summer.
so you haven't watched Acuff, right? You haven't watched Acuff?
Yeah,
I was telling Colby Who did he remind me of?
He said he reminded him of Iverson.
Really?
Yeah, the way he moves.
Mhm.
He plays
The
for
way he
Arkansas?
moves.
Yep.
Huh?
They're
From
both-
Arkansas.
He plays for Arkansas?
He's
Yeah,
their
he's a point guard.
I just saw he signed Reebok too, like today.
Did he?
Oh.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with his hairstyle. He just the way he moves. He has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He reminds me of Iverson.
Interesting. Okay. I'll check
He's
him out.
like across the board. He just checks all the boxes that you'd want in an NBA prospect.
Hmm.
And he's got that chip like my dad. I think he's from Detroit. He's got that. He's
Is
got
there-
that edge.
Is there anyone in the Sweet 16 that will be around like the 20, like in that early 20 range for the Sixers to draft that I can look out for?
Honestly, Koa Pete might fall there.
What position?
The freshman forward from Arizona.
He's a power forward. He's a power forward
Yeah.
from Arizona.
He's like 6'8". He's not athletic. Not the greatest shooter, but I mean,
He's
He
perfect.
sounds like a Sixer.
He's perfect.
I haven't watched him a whole lot. Not gonna lie, but he was very highly
Ah,
touted
man.
coming into college.
Listen, I've watched him. I watched him enough. He's a good player. He's a good player. He's a higher motor than most. I do like he's very active around the basket and boards, which I love. But to Kobe's point, yeah, he's not. His athleticism is not going to jar you. But he's a good player. He's a decent
Alright.
player.
What
But
team
he's
is this?
not Arizona.
Okay, I'll check him out.
Arizona. I mean, if he dropped to the Sixers, fine. Like it's fine. He's a young kid. They could develop him. But
Chuck,
he's not somebody that I would be looking at, huh?
There's a lot of guys you could look at, Chuck. Arizona center. He's an international player. He's like 7'2", averages 10 and 8 for them right now. He shoots pretty well from the free throw line. Alabama's point guard, LeBaron Philon Jr., sophomore. He's averaging 21 points. He's like a combo guard.
Okay.
So yeah, Houston center, Chris Senack. He's a freshman. So yeah, a lot of guys to look out for. Michigan center, he's huge, 7'4". I like him. I like him as a player. I mean, he's on one of the best teams in the nation, but big guy. He seems to move pretty well for his size.
Yeah,
Can
he's
score a
got a
little
huge wingspan, as Jay Billis would say.
But he can't shoot free throws. He's like 52% from the free throw line. Isaiah Evans from Duke, who I've talked to you a little bit about that. I said that I liked him as a player for the Sixers. He's just the guy that can shoot the lights out. He seems to have a really good basketball IQ. He's been winning the majority of his time at Duke. He's been a very key player on a lot of winning teams. I like him. He's projected to go to the Sixers in some drafts. He's an older kid. He's a junior, but he'll probably leave school after this year. He's having his best year. Just a knockdown shooter. Has a lot of room to improve. Seems like he's a good kid, hard worker. And he's got some solid size, good defensive potential, long arms. So he's a guy
I'll
to
check
look
some of
out
these
for.
players out. Before we get off college basketball,
Mm-hmm.
do you guys think if the Sixers own their pick, would they be tanking right now?
If the Sixers own their pick, they'd be tanking right now.
No,
No.
No,
I
I
think
don't
they
think so.
started too well.
Okay. This one though. If they got that pick back from Oklahoma City instead of Houston's pick. Just curious.
Yeah, I think they were too far ahead to tank.
Yeah, like that pick would be what, 14th? That pick would be like 14th right now, 14th, 15th right now, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I don't think so.
Yeah, Kobe's probably right. They're probably too far ahead to try to tank. I was just curious. It seems like we're scraping the bottom of the barrel for some of these players. But it's a deep draft from what I'm hearing, so we'll see. I'll take a deeper dive in once we get closer to the draft.
Yeah, make sure
We
you
got
guys
an
tune in.
NFL draft to get to first.
Yeah. Yeah, excited about that. We're looking at Amari Cooper for a possible first round pick. The Eagles might look at for a wide receiver
From Indiana?
Indiana. Yes,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did. We just
smaller
watched
guy,
this.
6 feet tall. But seems like an all around good football player. Like does a lot of little things well, blocks, runs routes.
He's,
Can he
he's
catch?
projected first round?
He's
Can he
projected to be a
catch?
first round.
Can he catch? Like, that's the only thing I care about.
If
Can
he's
he catch a
projected-
ball in traffic?
He's not gonna be AJ Brown, but he'll be. If you do trade him, he'll be solid running partner for Devontae.
JJ Ortega-Whiteside?
That's
No,
what
do you have an AJ
decided
Brown
Justin
update?
Jefferson.
Yes or no?
I think when AJ gets traded, Noah's he's gonna be done with us.
So when do you think it's inevitable?
I think we should make a bet. I think he's going to be on the team this year.
I don't think so.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't.
Yeah, I do.
I don't think
You
so.
don't think so? Okay.
No, I think
Ye-
he doesn't want to be on the team, and I think the Eagles are saying, "Okay, cool. This is a way to kind of free up some money."
Right, but I just don't think the Eagles are going to get what they expect for him. And I think they're going to run it back for one more year. This will be his last year, definitely.
Yeah, he's going to lose some value unless he has a big year, I guess. But he's going to be closer to 30. He's going to lose some value, but we'll see. You might be right. You know, I kind of hope they keep him. But he has to want to be here. I can't have him like calling for trades after they're 4-0. I can't do it.
We'll see how the rest of the tournament plays out as we get closer to the draft. We'll keep talking Eagles. But for now, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. We'll be back to recap the Sweet 16 and the rest of the NCAA tournament. Some opening day action that we'll catch this week. It's been a lot of fun. Hope you guys have a good week, and we'll talk to you later.
See you guys.
Peace, fellas.
By Riverside FM.
I'll edit
I got
that out.
excited.